Hello, guys, and welcome back. My name's Megan, and it is autumn here in Australia. Although you wouldn't know it from today, it's like 34 degrees. Anyway, uh, I thought I'd better get started on my autumn knit planning because it's already over 10 days into autumn and I'm not organized. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to go through all the things that I am wanting to knit. Because I live in a place where the weather can be a bit all over the place, these might not be like straight autumnal knitting patterns. I think a lot of them are, but then there's also a few warmer ones where I would be wearing it on a day like today. And then there are some ones for colder weather. So there's a bit for everyone, hopefully, here. So it might work for you if you're in the northern hemisphere and going into spring. If you are living somewhere a bit colder, I don't know, maybe there'll be something for you in here. Anyway, let's get it started. I've got my laptop in front of me here, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. The first two knits are sort of more for the warm weather. Um, and they are both inspired by this yarn that I picked up recently. I mentioned it in my knitting podcast that I made, and it's just this bamboo rayon. It's sort of got like a nice sheen to it, and it just seems like it's going to be really drapey. I'm super excited to knit with it. And so I've been looking for patterns that I think would be good for it. And the ones I've come up with are this Sydney Scoopback knitting pattern by Made by Rosh. So you can make this one with sleeves, like little cap sleeves, or without, as just like a boat neck top with a low back. And I think I want to do it without. That is something that I would probably wear more. I really love this. I think that this yarn would work really well for it and drape in a really nice way. I love a boat neck, as you can see, I'm wearing one now, and I really like a low back. I guess it can be a little bit tricky finding the right bras to go with that, but or I mean, you could always go with a bra that's meant to be seen, like in this photo. That looks really cute with the bra showing. But anyway, I really love this style of top, and I've been wanting to knit a top like this for a while, so it might be time. But the other option that I might do with this yarn is the pool top by Josefine Dyring. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly, by the way. But this one, I love a halter neck top. This one's basically backless. It's just the tie at the back. And I don't know, is that I-cord they've used? That's something I've never done before, so that would be really cool to learn a new technique. Yeah, both of these just seem to be knitted up in stockinette stitch, so I'm sure they would be fairly quick and simple knits. And yeah, I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to go for yet, but if anyone has knitted these and can recommend them, please let me know. That would really help me make my decision because I want to get started on that really quickly before this hot weather disappears. But in Melbourne, where I live, like it's always up and down. You'll get a really cold day and then a really hot day out of nowhere. Anyway, let's move on to the more cold weather tops that I've got, or cold weather pieces. So, sticking with Josephine Dyring, we have got the Laura top. And this is something that I saved ages ago. I'm sure you might have seen the tank top that she did with like the sort of cutout like peekaboo bits at the front. Um, but this one is sort of similar, but a bit more suited for autumn. I really love the stripes on this. I love that it's got that similar detail to the other top. What is that one called? So that one was the pop top. So I really like that this one sort of has a similar vibe with the openness here, but it is different and it looks more, it's sort of more like a cardigan that's done up. but it still has those little cutouts. I like that it's sort of got a collar or a high neck, but it's sort of neither at the same time. I don't know. And it also looks like there's a few techniques used here that I have not used before. And yeah, I would love to learn. I love learning new techniques in my knitting patterns. So that's something that I would like to make this autumn. Something else I'm really keen to make. This one I'm definitely making 100%. I know I'm not ever going to make everything I say I want to make in these planning videos, but this one 100% I'm going to make. If I don't, I don't know. You never have to listen to anything else I say ever again. I mean, you don't have to anyway, but this top is the Armour. Oh, Armour. It's the Armour top by Ranti Studio. And this one really reminds me of the QDT, but sort of like a grown-up version of that. Like, it's got a similar silhouette with like the sort of high neck and the capped shoulders, and it's still kind of a fitted top, but it looks much more, I don't know, grown up maybe. Whereas the QDT is really fun. I think this one's still fun, but like a bit sophisticated. I don't know. I really love the way the sleeves sort of poke out at the sides and it looks really nice and structured. Like that really says warm weather to me. I also really like the rib. It looks like it would fit in really nicely to the curves of the body. You can also do this in a long sleeve, which I love having that option. Of course, you always have that option. You can just keep on knitting if you want to, or you can do no sleeve at all. So yeah, love this. Can't wait to make it. You will see me wearing this by the end of autumn. So the next bit, there's a few patterns here. I really, really want to make a cardigan. I made one last year, but it's this big, bulky, slouchy cardigan. I just made it because I had the pattern already in a pattern book that I have, and it was not the type of cardigan I was going for. I don't know why I did it. I didn't really enjoy the process. Anyway, it's not about that cardigan. It's about this cardigan. So I'm really looking for one that is sort of more tighter fitting, not tight, but more form fitting, or true to size, I guess. The cardigan I knit last time was kind of oversized, so I want something true to size, a bit finer with some nice details, sort of like those Cezanne ones that are really popular at the moment. I'd really love to knit myself one. So this is sort of the big project that I want to do this autumn, but I can't decide what pattern I want to use for it. I was thinking of maybe just trying to self-draft it, but I don't know. I think it will come out best if I follow a pattern because I want it to look really crisp and clean. So here are the patterns that I've compiled that I'm trying to choose between. So again, if anyone has knit any of these patterns and can suggest any to me, or if you just see one and have a favorite, please let me know. But the first one is the Maggie cardigan from PetiteKnit. So this one's obviously not a long sleeve, but like you can just keep knitting and make it a long sleeve. I really like how, I don't know, this one just looks really effortless and chic. It looks a little bit thicker than other ones I've got, and it looks very cozy, but also not too hot, especially in the short sleeve version. I guess in a long sleeve it would be a bit warmer, obviously. But yeah, I like the rib details. I don't know, just like it. Looks effortless, looks really nice. And then I've also got another one by PetiteKnit, the Copenhagen cardigan. And this one looks like the details are a bit finer. The rib is smaller. It gives the impression of a thinner knit. Can't remember off the top of my head what weight of yarn these are both knitted with, but this one seems to be a bit thinner. and I kind of like it. I kind of am leaning more towards this one with the thinner button band and more buttons. Like this one looks like it could just be worn as a top on its own as well. I wouldn't do the pockets. That's not what I'm looking for at the moment. So I would just not do that step, but maybe I'd do it in another time. Like if I knit this one again. I don't know. I do really like that one. And then we've got one by Tricot Design, the Oxford cardigan. This one is quite similar, I think. Maybe this one's more similar to the, what is it? To the Maggie cardigan. I do really love this one as well. I'm going to say that obviously I like them. I have saved them here for a reason. I also really love the blue shade that they've used here. I would probably knit mine in a color rather than grey, even though grey looks really awesome and effortless. I don't know. I want a colored cardigan. I was thinking maybe red, but yeah, this one's really nice. Again, all pretty similar. This last one is probably the most different. So this is the Clotilde cardigan. I believe it's French. um, by Minimi Knit Design. So this one has more of a boat neck and it's more drop shoulders, which, looking at it now, I'm probably not looking for this type for this time. um, I don't know, this looks a little bit more slouchy and that's not exactly what I'm going for. I'm looking for something more clean and crisp. So now that I'm looking at it, probably not this one. But what I do really like about this designer is when you look at their patterns, they demonstrate a lot that you can wear it like with the buttons in the front or at the back as well. So it's reversible, which is cool. And this is a really beautiful cardigan, but I actually think I'm more looking at the top three patterns. So the Maddie cardigan, the Copenhagen cardigan, and the Oxford cardigan. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts at all. Okay, so moving on from cardigans, I really want to make myself a scarf. I don't have a scarf. I mean, I've got one, but it's more of like a pashmina, but I really want like a nice woolly, comfy scarf to bundle up in. But I think scarves can be a bit boring. Like I'm knitting a scarf at the moment for my dad and it's a little bit boring. This scarf is not boring. This is the Slalom scarf by Xandy Peters. Also, Xandy Peters has some of the most incredible patterns. I'll talk about them probably more in another video, but this scarf is awesome. So it is a brioche knit, which I've never done before. I might want to practice on something else before doing this scarf. But yeah, I really love like the curved pattern going in the middle, the colors that are used here. I just love it. It's awesome, and I hope that I can make this. Like, I think this would not be boring to make. I think it would be a bit of a challenge because of the colors, because it's brioche, and because there's like the curve going. I think all of that would make it quite interesting to knit. But yeah, we will see. We'll see on this one. I really do want to make it. Maybe, hopefully. Anyway, the next thing that I want to knit is another accessory, and that is a hood. I was kind of thinking about doing a bonnet because they're so popular right now, but I think I would get more use out of a hood. I think that would be more practical, especially in the specific scenario of going to watch my boyfriend play soccer. He hasn't played in a couple of years, and last time I remember sitting there feeling a bit miserable because it was so cold and wet, and I just needed something more cozy on. So I think a hood would be great for that because it would cover the neck, and then I could also pull it over if it starts to drizzle, without it being like something big and bulky. So the ones I'm looking at, I really just want something a bit simple, but I don't want something that's too form-fitting, but I guess I can just knit a bigger size if I want. But I'm looking at the Hera hood from 96 Knit. So this is just a basic one, stockinette. I also don't like it when they're quite pointy at the back or quite boxy. So I like that this one kind of looks like it's nice and rounded, shapes, it fits to the shape of the head quite nicely. It's a bit baggy around here. Yeah, just looks nice, simple, pretty easy. But then I was thinking that I should probably just check to see if I already own a hood pattern. And I do in my Rose netbook. They have the Rosh hood, which you can see on the back right here. It's got this awesome pattern, the stitch pattern. I guess it sort of depends if I want to do something that is more of a challenge or just something nice and simple. Like I only really need to knit one hood. So I guess it'll depend on how I'm feeling when I come to it. But this one is only available in the book as far as I am aware. So rather than linking the pattern, I've just linked the book. I really do love this book. I think it's really good value to buy knitting books, especially if you like most of the patterns. I know it can be a bit tricky because you don't know if you're gonna like all the patterns, especially if you're buying online. But even if you make like a handful of the patterns out of it, I feel like you've already made your money back. But they also often have a lot of different information. Like this one has got lots on the different stitch patterns. Anyway, I feel like I'm selling this book, but I swear I'm not. I am just a fan of Rose knitwear. um, I mean, speaking of this, the next thing I've got and the last item I've got listed here, I wasn't going to do any sweaters because I thought there are lots of sweaters that I want to make, but I think that's what I'm going to do in winter. Just try and churn out sweaters. But then I saw this one when I was trying to find the Rosh hood online. Of course, I couldn't find it, but I saw this Luna sweater. And I think I'm going to sneak this one in because it looks like it would knit up fairly quickly. So this one is more structured and has more of a fine rib on the collar and the waistband, the cuffs, that's the word. And then it uses different size needles for the body and the sleeves. So it is a bit more of a open weave there. I think that would be great for like a transitional season like autumn or spring. So I'm sure it's still going to be quite warm, but it won't be as hot as it could be. Like there'll still be a bit of airflow in there. This is also knit flat, but it's all one piece. And I've never knit something like that, so that would be really interesting to do. Yeah, I think that would be fun, like the construction of that. So you knit it all in one piece, and then you seam it together, and then you do the ribbing on the edges. Yeah, this one is cool. So many Rose knits are cool. I'm just a Rose fan account at this point. Anyway, that's all I've got planned. I didn't want to do like a wild big plan for autumn because I just know I'm not going to knit all of that. I also have things I want to sew myself, and I have knits that I want to do for gifts. So these are just focusing on things that I could realistically make for myself this autumn. Let me know if you have made any of these or if you've been looking at some of these patterns too. Are you making anything right now? What were you guys working on while you were watching this? Please let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Have a really good day, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.